What up, my deggies? Dr. Blue here. Today I wanted to do a little commentary, but I didn't really want to talk about anything in particular. Well, I did have like a couple of topics in mind. First, I was going to talk about like how really good things are going in my life right now. But then like some bad things happened, and then I was like, maybe I'll just talk about reliability in my life. But eventually I kind of came around to the idea of just making a video on really kind of how to be happy. And I don't know really what the point is of this video, just to maybe vent my feelings, or just like talk about how crazy life is sometimes, and kind of just bring everyone together into like a video that kind of just explains that things are shit sometimes and things are good sometimes. You know, life happens. It's never all good or all bad, you know. So first I want to talk about like how positive things are going. And when I was thinking of that video idea, I was like, you know, I'm meeting new YouTubers. I met like 4 new YouTubers in the past few days, one of which who's given me amazing opportunities to, you know, get my name out there. Others that are really talented, that I've just met. You know, new friends, new video ideas, and just really good stuff. And then, you know, how my group that I'm in, we're all doing like new opportunities, and whenever one of us wins, we all win. And you know, I'm graduating soon. My ID came, like the, you know, my new ID, so that I can now get a job and get some money and get some gear and get some new games, and how things are really going well. I want to talk about that like originally, but then some like bad stuff happened. I like in the server that I'm with all these new friends, sometimes they just don't reply to me, and it can be a little annoying because it feels like I'm the one trying to always organize sessions, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. People drop out, or people don't reply, or people just don't come when they say they're going to. And then I was like, maybe I'll just talk about how reliability is a thing and how people should live up to their word. A lot of my friends aren't very reliable. I wish they would be. Some of them are for sure, definitely, but some aren't, and you know, it's not always their fault. I understand that. But you know, it would be nice if someone said they're going to do something, they then do it, you know. That would be nice. And then I was going to talk about, you know, either one of those things or the other, but I was really like, you can't really kind of have one thing without the other. And by one thing without the other, I mean the good things and the bad things. So it's like a mix of my luck every day is where something bad usually happens, but then something good will happen towards the end of the day, or my day will start off really well and then it will get bad towards the end of the day. And it made me think just that sometimes these things just happen. Sometimes really good stuff just happens to you, and sometimes really bad stuff just happens to you. And you kind of really like, there's this song I once heard. It was on Skins, actually. It was like, it's gotta get bad before it gets good. It's gotta get bad before it gets good. And you know what? There's just like so much truth in those lines, because it does gotta get bad before it gets good, because that's just kind of how life is sometimes. And it's like my Twitter, I'm going to tweet about a lot of this stuff, like how things are going well and things going bad. You know, you go through my Twitter feed and it'll be like a bunch of tweets about how things are either really good or how things are shit, or just me talking about my opinions and stuff like that. And it's like, it's a mixture of stuff. And I think I like my Twitter because of that, because sometimes people only tweet out the positive stuff, or they'll only post on Facebook about the positive stuff. And it's important to remember that on social media, everyone portrays the best version of themselves usually, and you gotta kind of not let that get you down, because sometimes people can realize that other people's lives are going really well, and like, because you only see the positive stuff of everyone else's life and you see everything that happens to you, you'd be like, oh, this person must have it perfect 24/7, and I don't. Like, am I worse than them? Am I less than them? It's like, no, you're not, man. Shit happens in everyone's lives, and it's important to remember that. And no one has a perfect life, and no one gets the bad without the good. No one gets things good and something bad doesn't happen before. Of course, it's differently balanced for some people. Like, some people are going to get better luck than others, but that's just the way it is. Some people just get better luck than others. But if everyone gets their share, you know, Everyone gets their share of bad luck and good luck. And so it's important to realize that on social media, when people post good things, don't get overwhelmed by it. I find sometimes I just get jealous, and I used to really hate myself for that. I really hated myself for getting jealous. I'm like, why should I get jealous? These are my friends. I used to get jealous of my friends doing really well. And you know what? I kind of realized that jealousy, it's a human emotion. It's built into us. So it's okay to be jealous. It's okay to be envious of someone else. The only thing is you gotta not let it consume you and ruin those friendships, because it can if you let it. And I used to get jealous, and then I would treat people badly because, well, through no fault of their own, really, just because things were going really well for them. And I realized you gotta not do that. You can be jealous, that's fine, but sometimes just I don't know, maybe talk to the people about it instead of getting angry at them secretly, like, oh, this guy's doing really well, why can't my life be doing really well? Oh, he gets it so easy, he gets it much easier than me. Fact is, he probably doesn't get it a lot easier than you. He probably gets his own share of bullshit just as much as you do. You just, again, you don't see it. That's what friends are for, really. Maybe, because what I would do for myself is I would get jealous and stuff, but what I started doing is ranting to my friends about how shit things can get sometimes, because things can get pretty shit, and it's important to use those friends, and when people say, I'm here for you, really mean it. And sometimes I just rant to my friends about how shit things are, and they'll then rant how bad their things are, and it's misery loves company, so we all end up feeling better somehow. And it was a lot healthier for me, instead of getting jealous over these people through no fault of their own. It's better than getting jealous of people doing really well. And I still get jealous. I still be like, damn, I wish my things went that well. But now I rant to my friends about it, and I'm like, hey, I saw this went really well for you. I wish things would go like that for me. And then they normally bring up something that's going shit for them, and then they can say something positive about you. And it's you gotta help each other out with that stuff. Say, positive and negative things about each other. And it's important, because you got to realize that sometimes when things happen, they aren't necessarily your fault. If something happens to you through someone else, sometimes it's just completely not your fault. And you got to try not to get angry about it. I mean, you can get angry, that's a human emotion, but don't let it control you, don't let it take over. And it's important to realize that when things, sometimes they just happen to you and they just aren't your fault, and it's you just got to get up and deal with it. But it's also important to recognize that when you are at fault, if you are at fault, it's you've got to recognize that. And one of the things you can do to recognize that is, when you have friends, don't surround yourself with these yes men. I've been around a few people that just surrounded themselves with people that just praised their content, and just said good things about them all the time. And don't get me wrong, it's great to have friends that are positive about you and that boost you up and cheer you on. That's really important. But it's important to not surround yourself with yes men, to not surround yourself with people that are just going to say, oh, good job, man, no matter what you do, because sometimes you could be doing something really fucked up, and if you have a bunch of yes men around you saying, yeah, go you'll never know when you're being wrong, and it can ruin future relationships for you. And so it's when you get friends, you gotta have people that can give you constructive criticism, but also be positive. And it's when I say constructive criticism, I mean constructive criticism. You've gotta, tell them what they're doing wrong, but in a nice way if you can. And sometimes friends argue, that happens all the time. I've argued with a few of my friends, but friends argue all the time. But you gotta be positive and constructive with people. Give them constructive criticism and tell them when they're doing well. Sometimes when someone just hears oh, you've dressed really nice today, or this video is really good, it cheers them up, it makes their day a little bit better. So it's it's important to let people know that. And if I was in your spot, and you've got a friend that's maybe having a shit day and you don't know, if you see something good that they've done, just say, hey man, I saw this was really good job. it doesn't hurt to say it. It doesn't cost you anything, and it can really brighten their day and possibly strengthen your friendship. So I recommend you do that if you see it. Like, tell people they're doing well. That's what I do with my friends in DMs sometimes. But I'll also tell them if something's not that great. And you know what? It helps us all improve our content, helps us all be better people, because no one is the perfect person. We're all growing, we're all learning. And so you gotta, like, not surround yourself with yes men, but not people who drag you down all the time. Like, some people will be too easy to criticize you. They'll jump at the chance to criticize you. And sometimes there are just people that are just really toxic in your life and that will just criticize you non-stop. Sometimes it's better to talk that out with people and say, listen, I don't appreciate you doing this all the time. It would be nice if you could, say some positive things sometimes. I know I need to improve, but saying these things all the time is kind of getting me down. And if they're a good friend, they'll be understanding, and sometimes they won't, and sometimes that'll start an argument, and you might have to lose a friend or two. You lose friends, you gain friends. It happens all the time. But sometimes you do have to cut toxic people out of your life, and just kind of move on. But I don't know. I don't really know what this kind of video is. I just kind of decided to... I was at the start of the day, I was like, I want to talk about positive stuff, but then I want to talk about negative stuff. And it just kind of spiraled into this rant about how stuff just doesn't go your way sometimes, and that's okay. You just got to deal with it in the best way you can and be the best human you can be, and so I think I'm going to title this video How to Be Happy, but you know what, I don't think anyone can always be happy all the time, and that's okay, because it's kind of part of life. It's okay to be sad sometimes, it's sometimes okay to be angry, it's okay to be jealous, it's okay to be envious, and it's okay to be happy. But just remember that no one is happy all the time. No one is always completely happy. Everyone has good things happen to them. Everyone has shit things happen to them. And if you can add a little positivity into somebody's life or help them improve as a person, then do. And then sometimes if someone's too much, you don't have to deal with them all the time. You can cut toxic people out of your life, but it's best to try and work that stuff out after, sometimes. Cutting people out of your life is kind of a last resort thing, but sometimes some people are just really, really mean, and to be happier, you just have to cut them out of your life. And with social media and a lot of things being digital, it's very possible these days. But I encourage you to try and talk it out and fix things with that person first. But if need be, sometimes you do have to cut toxic people out of your life. Some people, they aren't out to be happy. Some people are out to make other people miserable. There are no perfect people, and sometimes there are just people who strive to not be perfect. There's no perfect situations, there's no perfect scenarios, and I'm not saying that everyone has to be perfect, because you don't, right? But just being a decent human being is what I think we should probably all strive for. Like, you want to try and work stuff out with your friends before just cutting them off, but yeah, sometimes you do have to cut them off, and it's a shame, but not all of us can get along because we're not all the same. So yeah, I don't know really why I did this video, but hey, I wanted to rant a little bit about just sometimes in my life, even me as a almost 600 sub YouTuber, sometimes shit goes down in my life and I'll throw my hands up in the air and I'm like, things are going bad. And sometimes things go good, like they have been recently, but again, things go bad, and it happens to everyone. People like famous YouTubers, happens all the time. Celebrities, they get ups and downs in their lives. Everyone gets it, so it's important to remember that we're all humans and we all get down sometimes, and it's okay to support each other. That's about it. That's about all I had. I know it was a really weird video. I've not really done this before, but I just wanted to remind people that shit happens sometimes, and it can be your fault, it can't be your fault, but you just gotta deal with it in the best way you can and be the best human you can be. So yeah, again, don't really know what this video is about, but I just wanted to vent, and feel free to vent yourselves in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. Let's not argue, because that would kind of bring down the mood of this video, but let's have a discussion in the comments. Like, let's rant about some of the shit things in our lives, and let's talk about some of the good things in our lives, Let's bring the mood up, One thing I have learned, though, sometimes when I'm feeling down, I just stick on some music and I start dancing, even if it's just me in my chair. Sometimes I dance while I'm editing because the music's that good. But I don't know, like if anyone's feeling down, obviously if you're feeling too down, please go to suicide helplines and stuff like that if it gets to that point. But if you're just feeling sad, sometimes just having a little bit of music and dancing a bit can make you feel really good, because it's good for your body, it's good for your mind. So don't be afraid to dance, man. It's fun. it gets me up. So thanks for watching, I guess, if you watched all the way to the end. Appreciate you. I'll see you next time, my diggies.